No Time to Die came out in 2021. As I am making this video, it is December 2024, and nothing has been announced for what is to come next. Should they cast a new actor as James Bond and start making films? And if so, based on what? Elements from novels after Fleming? Salad films using bits and pieces of various authors, including Fleming? Original scripts never seen in novel form? Here are some ideas I would love to see going forward, making use of James Bond and also the wider universe he lives in. If you like any of these ideas, or hate them, or have ideas of your own, please leave a comment. I would love to read them. Assuming something gets underway in 2025, it would probably come out in 2026 at the earliest, making it 5 years between the end of the Craig reboot series and whatever follows it. There were 5 years between Spectre and No Time to Die, but the longest gap between Bond films was 6 years, between 1989's License to Kill with Timothy Dalton and 1995's GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan, which was arguably a reboot in a way. I guess, taking what has come before into consideration, the traditional thing to do is recast Bond and start making films. Craig's Bond has its own complete story, so extending that continuity is challenging. So this would be another reboot or reimagining, and placing Bond in the present day for new adventures. We've already had Connery, Lazenby, Moore, Dalton, Brosnan, and Craig. Adding another actor to that list seems both expected and, to me at least, boring. So, it is not one of my ideas on the surface. There have also been murmurs of casting a non-white actor as Bond, perhaps someone black or Asian. There has even been talk, serious or not, I cannot say, of casting a female lead as some kind of James Bond. As Bond is a well-established franchise based on a long series of novels, the character is already well-defined as being Caucasian. Such an extreme recasting strikes me as more like political pandering than good storytelling. However, when the announcement came that Bond was retired in No Time to Die, and his number in MI6 007 was assigned to a new agent, a black woman, it struck me that there was a way for rights holders and producers to kill two birds with one stone. Idea number 1. Continue the franchise as an extension of Craig's reboot universe. Ralph Fiennes as M, Naomi Harris as Moneypenny, Ben Whishaw as Q, maybe even Lashana Lynch as Nomi? Possibly the official 007 if she regained that number after the actual death of Bond, or still 005, the number she was given when Bond resumed the 007 number. This series could be called MI6, and shift agents and cast more organically by killing characters off, reassigning code numbers as actors came and went. In fact, if Nomi kept the 005 designation, 007 would be left open for anyone, and they could cast whatever race or gender actor they wanted. But it would not be James Bond. I, for one, would love to see Nomi carry on, and maybe have some adventures with her American counterpart, Paloma, played by Ana de Armas. This concept would allow things to proceed from a point of familiarity, the well-received Craig reboot series, while allowing for substantive changes to satisfy people who want to see more diversity in the franchise, without involving James Bond at all. Idea number 2. My second concept would be a more historical release set back in the late 40s and 1950s and progressing forward in time. Fleming had Bond working for the semi-fictional Secret Service, with connections later on to the real-life Secret Intelligence Service, or SIS, also known as Military Intelligence Section 6, MI6. This series of films would predate Bond being an agent and show the establishment and development of the fictional version of MI6, the creation of the 00 section and Q branch, and focus largely on new characters. We could see Miles Messervy prior to becoming M, Boothroyd before becoming Q, things like that. There could even be a young MI6 agent on everyone's radar, James Bond, being groomed for potential 00 status. Of course, that would make a subsequent Bond series tied to that timeline, starting him off in the 1950s or 1960s as a 00 agent. These would be original stories based on existing canon as much as possible, and they would serve to nail down the official backstory for these characters in a new film canon. Idea number 3. My final idea is the easiest in some ways. Make a series that is book accurate. Make the films in book publishing order. Set the films in present day, and make whatever narrative changes necessary to help them make sense in the 21st century, but keep the plots intact as much as possible. Casino Royale, Live and Let Die, Moonraker, but no space battles. Diamonds Are Forever, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, Goldfinger, a bit harder since no one uses the gold standard anymore. For Your Eyes Only, Thunderball, The Spy Who Loved Me, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, You Only Live Twice. That might be a good spot to end it, and perhaps some novels could be excluded, but everything about Spectre could be revealed and handled properly. Blofeld could be a consistent nemesis once his character appeared, and book accurate to boot. Each film would see Bond in an adventure, but there would be continuity and continuation. Very fitting in this day and age when everything winds up on streaming services and can be binged in order, like Harry Potter or the early phases of the MCU. Additionally, it would make reading the original novels more satisfying for filmgoers, since the plots of the movies would actually match the titles of the books, albeit with changes due to modernization. Those are my 3 ideas. Number 1, a Bondless MI6 series with the potential for any actor they wanted to be 007, carrying on where the Craig series ended. Number 2, a retro pre-Bond series about the early days of the fictional version of MI6 and the creation of 00 agents, possibly leading into the beginning of Bond's career, also set in the past. Number 3, a book-accurate series updated as needed for present-day considerations, using the plots and titles of the Fleming novels correctly, in order, with foreknowledge of where the story had to go to ensure consistency. Recasting could be done as needed, depending on performer availability, no problem there, but the characters themselves would be consistent even so. Oh, one more thing. There's nothing to say that these had to be theatrically released films. They could easily be well-plotted seasons on some streaming service, allowing for a proper decompression of plot lines. Any one of these could be released concurrently on streaming, while another idea was being released in theaters, giving fans more viewing opportunities. Just keep that in mind if you think it would work. What do you think? Are my ideas stupid? Do you favor one over the others? What would you like to see done with the Bond character and/or universe going forward? Do you just want a recast Bond and have them carry on with new stories, as they've done in the past? Please leave your ideas in the comments section. I will not be offended, and I would really like to hear what you think would be best. Thanks for watching. See you next time.